Okay, we're here to see Finding Her Beat. As you can see, this is going to be more than a movie. It's going to be an experience. I've been waiting for this for a very long time. It's kind of a movie that, like, when I screened it just to see if we wanted to show it, I pictured like this kind of audience, this kind of performance, because isn't this why film festivals exist, right? There are ways we can watch this movie on Netflix one day, but to be here in a group to watch a film together, but also not just any film, but a film that is specifically about bringing people together in a group for a shared experience. I'm very excited to be able to bring to the stage the executive producer of the film, Jennifer Weir, to say a few words.
Thrilled to be here, not only because of the amazing weather, but because of the great community. Let's hear it. Anyone in the house who is a taiko player or a good friend or family member of a taiko player? Let's hear it. Yay! This is so exciting. I'm so thrilled that you guys are all here and that you're going to perform, and it's such a thrill and an honor for me to be here with you. Tiffany Tamarabuchi is in the house. Diana Wu is in the house. And so there are a lot of taiko legends amongst us and amongst the popcorn. So I really hope you enjoy this. I hope you give your love to your local taiko groups, because they are doing it every day all around the country, all around the world. And this is a love letter to all of us. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And so we're going to play the film immediately after. You'll have another show. So enjoy Finding Her Beat, and we'll see you afterwards. All right, now that we've whet your appetite, I'd like to bring up one of the artists featured in the film, San Diego's own Diana Wu of Naruwan Taiko.
Thank you thank you so much. I have to say, the first time when I saw this film, I dreamed of the day of it to be here in San Diego. Yeah, yes! And I even thought about things like, oh, well, if we were here, we got to perform with all the amazing taiko players that are here in San Diego. And so, first off, I want to thank the San Diego Asian Film Fest and Pacific Arts Movement for bringing the film to San Diego. And there's a lot to say, but I know we'll have Q&A, so I will add it to there. But I want to go ahead and bring up the taiko players representing the different groups in taiko community of San Diego. Come on up, come on up. We have a packed show. I mean, a certain amount of time, we want to give you as much as we can. And the very first piece that we're about to present is 11. And that was the piece that, yes, right? That was a piece written by Kaori, and good thing she already introduced it in the film, because I don't have the same presence as her when she talks about 11. I did want to give a big shout out to all the women up here. First off, of course, to the women in Naruwan. They have been such a big support for me for the last 15 years of running Naruwan. I am their teacher for taiko, but I can't believe I'm crying. I always laugh when people do this. But they taught me so much about life. So I am just so honored to be up here with all of them. And then to each of the ladies from the different groups of San Diego, in San Diego, I can give you my name. We got Chelsea from Buddhist Temple San Diego. Marisa from La Jolla Taiko. Or Karen Shaw from Ohana, and Lori is from Naruwan, but she's wearing the purple to represent Vista's Shokenji Taiko. They had a festival. Kathy Fuller, yeah, from San Diego Taiko. Michelle from also San Diego Taiko. Lana, yeah, Ghana from Gembu. And Krista from UCSD's Asayake Taiko. And also from La Jolla Taiko. So these ladies have learned 11 in the last month / or less than a week, some of them. So they had their own little Her Beat residency feeling. So here we are, Her Beat San Diego. And so we're going to present 11, and then after that I'll introduce the next two pieces. Yeah, we'll do that then. All right, you ready? Let's do this. Dance called Eja Naika. That was actually the piece that was in the end credits. That was a very, very special piece to us because it was written by PJ Hirabayashi. And yes, very, very, very notable, a wonderful human being. PJ is, for us, everything that you see here, like the community coming together to learn this piece together, to play together, to bring equipment together. This community spirit was really attributed to PJ and her husband Roy for just encouraging that kind of atmosphere in North American Taiko. So we really wanted to do Eja Naika and share that with you and share a part of PJ here today. So thank you very much, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
I want to bring back up the executive producer and of course also one of the stars of Finding Her Beat, Jennifer Weir. And then of course, badass taiko player, and Diana Wu. Again, What a performance. Thank you all for bringing this to here in San Diego. And of course to share this film, which is all the stories, not just of your stories, but the story of Taiko also. I'm struck by a moment in the film when, I forget if it was Chieko or who was it who said that, in Japan, it was a response to a lot of westernization. A lot of people wanted to reclaim this idea of what is Japanese. But of course in the United States, I mean, you're not Japanese American, right? And Jan, you're not as well. It's like, it's become kind of a quintessential Asian American form that crosses different kinds of ethnicities. So I'm curious how you all found Taiko as to be part of your own identities.
Oh, that's a great question. 3 hours late. No, for me, Taiko was something that I stumbled into, and the first thing is just it was sort of like, oh, what is this? It's amazing. I love it. And then the more I learned and the more I grew with it, it really kind of got its hooks on me and sort of claimed me as its own, even though I wasn't searching that out. And so for me, having something that I could really stand proud and strong and feel like a superhero in. There's not many spaces afforded for Asian Americans to do that, at least in my experience, and so I just found it absolutely incredible. And then meeting the community, which became family, which then became my life. I would say it was a very fortuitous, accidental rom-com.
For me, I am of Japanese heritage, but I'm of mixed ethnicities. And I was of a generation that internment camp trauma in my family was also looking for a way to reconnect with Japanese culture and my Japanese cultural heritage. And Taiko is something I grew up with in a way, going to the traditional Buddhist Obon festivals where everybody would dance. There would be one drummer playing with the Minyo folk music group. And my mom said from the time I could walk that I would stand in front of that drum. So I grew up wanting to play. And now I do have this sense of connection, this sense of community. There's a part of Taiko that is like quintessentially Japanese in nature, in spirit, but it's something that is also universal that anybody can connect with, and I like that blend.
I found Taiko in college on my way to a physics final. Actually, I think it was after the physics final, so I had a lot of pent-up rage that I saw these people playing. I'm like, that looks good. I think I'll do that and, calm down. But what kept me through it was actually, I used to play a lot of sports when I was a kid. I was in baseball, basketball. I forgot baseball, basketball. But then once we started applying for colleges, I was encouraged to do more individual sports for the application. So I started doing tennis, things like that. And so when I started playing Taiko in college, they had me solo right away. I didn't know that. It was like, here, get on drum, and just go nuts. And I got out there not knowing what I was doing, but everyone around me was just cheering me on. They didn't even know who I was. And I just hadn't felt that since being in sports. And so I kept it because that sense of connection, that sense of being built up by your community, by your team, that stuck with me and is one of the main reasons why I started Naruwan Taiko in San Diego, because I wanted to share that feeling to as many people as possible.
So all of you have mentioned community in some ways. I think what's incredible about this movie is like even people who aren't from the same physical community can come together and suddenly like you're just tied by this electricity and you know how to communicate without really communicating. Can you talk about just how this came together as this like transnational project? Did you all know each other already? How did you all come together?
To a certain extent, a lot of the artists from Japan are people that I've been working with and Megan has been working with for the past 30, 40 years in terms of professional performing touring activities. And same with the North American artists that will be at different events performing together. And for Megan and I, it was like, wow, we get to play with all these different artists, but we never played together. But we all know each other. We all interact with each other here and again. But wouldn't it be great if we could do that? And so we're like, oh, wouldn't it be great? And then we happened to tell Jen, she's like, you're crazy. That's a crazy idea. And then Jen made it happen.
For me, there were a lot of these people that I knew in name by name only. So when I was sending out my Facebook message across the seas to these amazing artists, I was like, Tiffany Tamarabuchi has signed on to join this company. So I kind of leveraged that a bit. But I would say some of these folks I knew personally, some I knew by reputation only, and some of it I had never met or even heard of or knew their work. But what I did is I went to a few people that I really trusted and I said, all right, what's your dream list of who you want to work with? And then I took those, like 5 or so lists and I put them together, and anyone who appeared on more than one list, I asked. And then I just started going down the list to see who would reply to me. And what was going to be like, maybe 6 to 8, which is still a lot if you've ever, brought someone from overseas. And then it ended up being 18, and finally I'm like, no more, that's all we can do. But as many of you, especially in the Taiko community, know, like we could have filled that stage like several times over. And it's this idea that, again, it's not just like this one unicorn in the room, it's the tons of people who have this talent and passion that just haven't had the chance to get off of the wings, of the stage and to take the center stage. And so it was like this exciting gathering of like the unicorns, but it was also this proof of concept, like, look around, everybody. This is all around you, and all you have to do is kind of, bring people in from the margins, and it's going to be spectacular. So I think that applies to every field, not just Taiko. Wherever you are, if you're a gatekeeper, look around, let more people in, and it's only going to lift everybody up.
So as I was watching this film for the first time a few months ago, of course, when they say, oh, you're going to do this in February 29, 2020, part of me, my heart sinks. I'm like, I know what happens. So as you were all going through that, and this is in the background, you don't make a huge deal of it, but we see it come a little bit more and more into part of the story. As the executive director, as the convener of all of this, can you tell us what was really going on in your heads? Was there a contingency plan?
There was no contingency plan. I truly thought we were all getting the flu, and I didn't really have a chance to read the news reports. I was in rehearsal the whole time. So I heard it like more like an annoying fly buzz, like this thing is happening, but you're just like trying to get through the day, get through the next task, make these things happen. And I had no idea that this steam train was heading towards us, and it wasn't until we watched some of the first drafts of the film where we're like, oh, like you just feel it creeping up and like getting closer and closer, and thank God I didn't know, or I would have just buckled under the panic of it.
Very often we come to a project like this and we are sick. Like we're traveling on planes, we're coming together from different places, and I don't think we ever had a single rehearsal where everybody could make it, because one by one, each of us was falling down with 100 and something degree temperature, and that's used to be very common in the professional world of Taiko. Something's always broken, someone's always sick, and yet we're getting out on the stage.
Actually, in the film, whenever that the news bite comes up, I do get a little twinge of that PTSD, right? Because it's like foreshadowing, and you already know it's going to not end, like the way you're like. So, but actually, it does remind me. And this ties to actually today's performance with the Taiko community San Diego folks. Right after her beat, Kaoli actually flew to San Diego to do a big community workshop with a lot of these folks. And if y'all know Kaoli, she is a very huggy, a lot of contact. But it was such a beautiful, beautiful workshop. It was the last big community thing that we did together. So for us to now play 11 together, I don't know, I can't find the words. It's a really, really beautiful thing to have happened.
Actually, I'm glad you asked that, because my questions are related to that. Was February 29th just a random date that the venue was available, or was there something specific to that? And also, obviously an event like this is very inspirational that I'm sure you wanted to take back to your respective students and groups, and you probably just didn't even have the opportunity to do that. So comment on that too, please.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it was the day that the theater was available. So I thought, oh, that's auspicious. Leap Day. It's sort of like Brigadoon. It only comes around once in a lifetime. So that's why normally I wouldn't invite a lot of people to Minnesota in the winter. But it's when the gig was, when the stage was available. Oh my God, yes, we were hoping we would tour. And in fact, I'm hoping that the film brings enough appetite for a tour that some wealthy producer will come call me and say, like, if you know of anyone, have them call me. because I would love to get the gang back together. But our group, like our Taiko group, we never got a chance to meet again after her beat wrapped. So we took all the drums back. We were going to meet the next week and sort of have a potluck and a sort of a wrap-up kind of session, and we didn't see each other then for except on the screen for many months. So it was very, it felt like this otherworldly thing, and then we went into another world, and it felt very unresolved in some ways. I think in a film like this, you have like that excitement and this good energy, and this is full of wonderful energy. But there's also the part of like, okay, after we wrapped her beat, I was depressed for 2 years. I mean, like genuinely, it's that thing of like you have these huge highs and these huge lows, and you just kind of keep moving forward. It's not all delight, it's not all inspiration, right? But if you kind of keep holding on to that faith, it serves you well in the end.
Well, first off, it's such a beautiful movie. I saw it at Newport and cried like 5 times. Aww. Which people know me know that I cry pretty easily. And it just was filled with so much love, so I just appreciate the movie so much. And tied to what you just said, but maybe go a little bit deeper, throughout the film, I think maybe 3 times you mentioned how you couldn't wait for it to be over. I'd like each of you to touch on this, but especially you, Jen. Like, what was it like directly in the aftermath, and were you relieved it was over? And then tied to it, kind of a little part 2, what were you all hoping would happen with the film in the aftermath, and like, what do you still hope this film does?
Yes, great idea.
So 2 weeks, right? So first day, wow, I'm playing Taiko with all these amazing people. 2 days later, you gotta learn 6 new pieces in 2 weeks. Completely different styles from what I did. And I will say within that moment, and I think the next few weeks, all I wanted to do was make sure I can make it to the concert and know this music. Because it was just a lot. The schedule would be like morning, for 2 hours, learn piece 1, next 2 hours, piece 2, then there's lunch, then piece 3, piece 4, and then 7 o'clock. It went really quickly. There wasn't really much time to sort of actually teach, to just absorb. One of the things I always did, actually, I don't know if I ever told you, I would wake up at like 5, maybe 4:30 and practice in my room, because there was no time to do self-practice, like at all. And I was also fully aware Michelle Fuji was in the room underneath me. So I would try not to actually practice the dance on the floor because it was creaky, so I would stand on my bed and practice it. I was like, there's no way she could hear me. And then this one time at lunch, she was like, what time do you wake up? I'm like, 8 a.m. But that was, it just became, it was a lot to just pack in. And then I was at the concert, amazing, but from that point on, every time I think about it, every time I watch the film, I just feel so much gratitude for it having to happen. I don't know if it'll ever happen again for me, anything like that. So to be a part of it, I don't even really think about those 2 weeks anymore. I'm just like, yes, we did it.
In the thick of it for me, it was really being back in the life of a professional taiko player again, which I hadn't been in for a while after sort of ending my career in Japan and really centering myself more in the United States and North America. And throughout the project, I was just so awed by the fact that it was happening, by the fact that Jen had gotten the funding, and that everybody who was able to come together came together. In terms of what I hoped to see happen, and did happen, as you saw in the Her Beat Japan, was that artists who never had the opportunity because of politics or because of just the way things panned out over time, who never worked together before, are now actively collaborating with each other in Japan. And artists here are actively collaborating with these artists from Japan, and all the artists in North America have more inroads to working together. I didn't expect to be coming to these film screenings, and that's been amazing to be able to see that happen. And I did really want to tour because there was tour plans, and of course, having this as an idea to begin with, I'd love to see it happen again or other iterations of it happen again. That's the goal.
Yeah, you know, I did notice how at this particular screening how many times I said that. I was like, for me, I did not expect to be sick. This is sort of like 2.5 years of planning leading up to these 2 weeks, and then in the middle of it I got sick, and I was just like, oh, there's so many things I want to be doing, and you know, and I could just kind of feel it kind of getting away from me a little bit. I would say that it was the biggest, most ambitious, artistic, logistic, budget-wise project I'd ever done. So I was being really, really stretched and challenged, and I was like, I got this, I got this, I got this, I don't got this, oh no, I don't have any of this, what's happening? And there was a lot of that churn that I was facing, and the exhaustion of not being able to eat or sleep or do the things that I really wanted to do, and just hoping that this wonderful machine would keep going. And then the concert was sublime. Like, I think it was like, you know, like when you have those big events in your life and you're in a different planet, like your body is somewhere else and your spirit is like in a stratosphere and everything. Like for me, the concert was like that. But the experience of the whole thing, because, I don't know, humans, these creatures we're so bizarre, we put too much weight on the negative. And so when it was over and without that sort of resolution, all I felt was the failures or the things I couldn't do or wanted to do but didn't. Or at any given point in the residency, there was someone unhappy because we were attempting to do these incredible things with very limited time, resource, energy, all the things. And so at any given point, I was talking somebody down off the fence. You know, I was like, it's gonna be okay, just stick with me. I know we can do this, you know. Like day after day, a different group needing different things, and I was like, oh, I'm letting all these people down. I can't keep it afloat. I'm not able to, you know, give everybody what they need. But I'm just gonna keep doing my best. But then this film came, and it's been very healing to me, and now with some time and the giant screen and multiple viewings, I can see the good and the healing and the miracle parts of it. My hope for the film is that people fall in love with taiko. My hope for the film is that people want to pay to see taiko players perform, and that taiko people can make a living. My goal is that girls and non-binary folks and trans and all the people in the margins, BIPOC, Asians, all of us, if we just get our chance, that we can do anything. And so I just hope that if this film helps push any of that agenda forward, then it's a win, and I'm so grateful for every second of it. Thank you.
As a way to wrap up, I want to end with Diana, actually, because I want to give you an opportunity to tell us if you are all interested in taiko here in San Diego, what should you do?
Yes, perfect opportunity. Yes, if you are interested in learning taiko in San Diego, there are 8 groups. I don't know if they all do classes, 8, including the Buddhist temple groups. So you've got Vista Temple, Shokenji Taiko up in Vista. You know, I'm not going to know the order from north to south, so I'll just name them all. San Diego Taiko, La Jolla Taiko, Genbu Taiko, Naruwan Taiko, Asayake, if you're at UCSD and you're a student there, try out. Ohana, the Taiwanese Center. Who was missing? BTSD. Oh yes, I'm so sorry. Oh, they're never going to bring mochi for me anymore. Yes, Buddhist Temple of San Diego also has classes as well, and the representatives here today. So if you're interested, ask us where you are, and we'll direct you. And of course, most of all, hopefully we have a taiko center in San Diego soon. And if that happens, then y'all come on down.
Well, thank you, Diana. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Jen, for your artistry, for your leadership, and for your inspiration. And thank you all for being here. Thank you all the performers who performed today. Thank you to the audience for being here. See you soon at other screenings for the Spring Showcase.